Hey guys, so today I'm here with the Flowmaster Force 2 axle back exhaust system fitting all 2018 and newer JL Wranglers with the 2.0 liter 4-cylinder motor as well as the 3.6 liter V6. Now, if you're looking for an exhaust system to liven up the sound as well as the look of the rear end of your Wrangler, then this option by Flowmaster is going to be a really good one to take a look at. Now, anytime you're opening up airflow, whether it be intake or exhaust, you will see a little bit of a performance gain in your horsepower and torque as well as your MPG. However, for us Jeep owners, that's usually going to be in the higher RPM range where we don't spend a lot of time. So this is going to be perfect for somebody who's looking for a deeper exhaust note as well as a stylish exhaust system for the back end of their Wrangler and is really not concerned about all of that extra performance. Even though it will be there, it won't be as noticeable as some other systems. So as far as sound goes, this is going to get a 2 out of 5 on the loudness meter from me, considering this is a pretty mild exhaust system. So interior noise is going to be very minimal. You're not going to hear a lot of drone, perfect for that daily driver. And the exterior noise is not really going to get a lot louder than your factory exhaust system, but it is going to get a lot more aggressive. So this is going to be perfect for somebody who doesn't need the loudest exhaust system, but still wants to hear it when they get on the throttle. So as far as price goes, this is going to be roughly $500, putting this at a pretty average price point for a dual tip axle back system. Now, in comparison to some other choices, usually you're going to get a couple of different designs as well as a couple of different muffler options. Now, because this is a more mild exhaust, that's why it's going to be a little bit lower than some of the more expensive options that are usually going to have a different design as far as the muffler goes. They may be a straight through design. So instead of a combination of 409 stainless steel as well as 304 stainless steel like this one, they may be full 304 stainless steel, which is going to be a little bit pricier. So in comparison to some other cost-effective choices, some of those usually will be for some high tuck systems that are perfect for somebody who's looking to do some more off-roading and wants some better departure angles, not necessarily a lot of styling, or they're just going to be for a single tip exhaust. Now, in my personal opinion, if you're a fan of a dual tip exhaust like I am, and you're looking for something stylish as well as for an aggressive exhaust note that's not too much, then this is going to be a perfect option to take a look at. So install is going to be a very easy 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, taking you probably an hour's worth of your time with some very basic hand tools. So speaking of the install, let's jump into that now. The tools that I use for my install are an impact wrench, 13mm swivel socket, 15mm deep socket, 3/8" drive ratchet, 13mm ratcheting wrench, a 10-inch extension, a hanger removal tool, and PV Buster. So the first step of this install, I'm going to go ahead and remove our hangers. Now you can go ahead and remove the exhaust from the actual hanger, but I find it's a little bit easier to take off the hangers itself. So I'm going to use a 13mm ratcheting wrench as well as a 13mm swivel socket and a 10-inch extension to go ahead and remove the top and the side bolt. So I'm going to take off the top bolt first. I have my hand ratchet behind the sway bar, the 10-inch extension over the sway bar, and then the 13mm swivel socket on the bolt, and I'm going to go ahead and take that off. Now, once you remove both of the bolts, the hanger will still stay in place because there is a notch on the hanger itself. So once that bolt is removed, we can move to the bolt on the side, and I am going to use a 13mm ratcheting wrench to take that off. So as a precautionary measure, I did put a pull jack underneath our muffler just so it doesn't wiggle out of place once we loosen up our clamp bolt. But I'm going to take a 15mm socket and loosen up the clamp that's connected to our catback piping and our axle back. All right, so once that's loose, we can take the pull jack out and wiggle off our axle back. So the hanger should still be in place. I'm just going to move our pull jack. And once we lift up, this should wiggle the hangers out of place. what we can do is just wiggle our exhaust off. So before we go ahead and mount up our new Flowmaster system, I did want to tell you guys a little bit more about it and what you're getting out of this system, especially in comparison to the factory setup. Now right off the bat, you can tell that it is a lot smaller. However, this is going to provide you a couple of different benefits that your factory system is not. So right off the bat, this is going to have a chambered muffler, but it is not going to be baffled. So this is going to loosen up some of that restriction and have some more airflow going through it. And it's also going to create a deeper exhaust note in comparison to your factory muffler here. Now, not to mention, this is big and bulky and it's just downright not attractive. So moving over to this system, it is going to create a more sleek look on your Wrangler, and especially with that black powder coat finish on the back of the system. Now that is going to be constructed of a 409 stainless steel material, and you do get that black powder coat finish on there, which is going to protect the 409 from any rust or corrosion. Now moving over to the 4-inch tips that you have on the end, those are going to be a polished 304 stainless steel, so those are not going to rust or corrode over time, and they're going to last a very long time. Now what I really like about this in comparison to the factory setup is not only that it is going to look a lot more aggressive mounted up to the Wrangler, it is going to free up some of that restriction like I mentioned before. So as you can tell on the back piping here, on the factory system it is pinched, which does create some restriction. And on the Flowmaster system, you're not getting any pinch when it goes over the axle. So not only is this just going to look aggressive and look really nice mounted up to the underside of your Wrangler, it is going to free up some of that airflow, which will increase a little bit of your performance. So enough about these two side by side. Let's go mount this up so we can listen to it. So because we did take off the full hanger, what I'm going to do is swap them over. So I'm just going to take a little PV blaster, so it's a little bit easier to remove, and then use a hanger removal tool. It's a lot easier when it's off the car. Now they are going to be side specific, so make sure you keep them on the same side, but all we have to do is slide those onto there. And we can grab our clamp and mount up our exhaust system. So to make sure that our hangers are staying on, we do have little retainer clips that we can push onto our hanger here. So what we can do at this point is make sure that our clamp is on the end of our exhaust system, and we can slide it onto our cap back piping. So there is going to be a little nub on the right side of the exhaust, and that is going to have a cutout on this exhaust system that it needs to slide into. So then after that is on, what we can do is orient this up into place with our hangers. So what I'm going to do is just push these up into place, making sure that our hangers align with our frame. And then we can thread in one of the bolts. So once we have one of our bolts in, that's really going to hold our exhaust system in place, so we can thread all of the other bolts in. So I am going to go for the top one here. You may have to hold up the system in order to thread that top bolt in. And then same with the other side, but once those are threaded in, it should stay in place. Then we're gonna get the other side in before we go ahead and tighten those down. So now that you have a better view of the actual hanger, this part is going to hook around that notch in the frame, and that's what's gonna be holding it on. And then we can bolt it into the side and then up at the top. So once those are both in place, we can go ahead and tighten those back up with that 13mm ratcheting wrench. and the 13mm swivel socket. So we can do the same thing for the other side. So now we can tighten up our clamp on our exhaust tubing. So you want to make sure that the clamp is sitting over both of the tubes down at the end. And then once you really can't wiggle it any farther because of that notch on the side, what we're going to do is tighten that up with a 15mm deep socket. Then after that, we're all set to go. So that's going to wrap it up for my review and install. Make sure you like and subscribe, and for more videos and products like this, always keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.